I've already mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it to you again. One of the most amazing things I've ever experienced was last year in May in Manchester. The closing event was a Q&A with Charles Smith. It was extraordinary. I was like, that is the way to end a conference. And what was so great about Charles was that he was incredibly generous with all of us. There was a line at the wazoo. He was on Skype. He wasn't even there, he was on Skype. We all lined up. It was like 55 of us in line, asking him question after question after question after question, and he did not get tired. And I was like, this is a man who loves his cousin. He didn't have to do that. Yeah. He didn't have to do that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Charles up, and he has a short presentation that he'd like to do. And then I'm going to ask him a couple questions. One is a personal question that I want to ask him. And the second is someone came to me during the intermission, and they were like, please ask him this question. So I want to start off with that. And then what I'd like to do is we have several mics up here, so I'm going to pass the mics around, and we're just going to ask Charles questions because he is that generous about Prince, and he knows a lot. So again, just like the people last night who stayed from the screening, that let me know who the real fans are. And for those of you who are in this room right now, you guys are the real fans. Yeah, you are. Because you should not miss what's about to happen. No way. Yes. So I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Charles Chazz Smith.
Is it on? Oh, okay.
I'd like to present this to D'Angela. I just think, and the university, I just think she's dope from actually the thing she just spoke to you guys about when I spoke on Skype. I mean, I didn't know it was that really big a deal because I wasn't really looking for any of this. I just know that I'd loved my cousin since we were little teeny kids. And I watched this brother play every instrument, learn how to play it. Told me I was a drummer. I'm a drummer. I'm still playing to this day. Nobody's ever be as big as him. So we just kind of like were happy to know that that was my cousin out there kicking it like that. So, you know, you can understand it. But I'd like to give that to you because I think you're dope. And I really appreciate being invited. And a Minneapolis artist did this. His name is Ron. What's his last name? Rob, yeah. He does these. Oh, are you kidding me? You're amazing. Come on, y'all. She was on my bus tour, too. She was so cool. I didn't even know it was her, and I'm sitting there just talking to her. She's just like, why is this lady paying so much attention to me like this? She was on everything. And then the history, the Betty Davis thing, that was dope. Yeah. Me and Prince used to dial her in because she was married to Miles Davis at one time. So, you know, we loved Miles. We tore that album up. So when my wife told me you were doing her, I said, oh, I wish we could go so we could see it. But anyway, I digress.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, of course. When you want me to go to the next slide, just let me know.
Yeah, you can go to the next slide right now. Anyways, y'all know that's my cousin Prince right there, right? All right. All right. I'd like to give you a little bit of, yeah, this is cute. That's Prince. That's Prince right there with his dad. That little teeny, cute little guy right there. And then under him is me with the suspenders. That's my cousin Wendy and Tracy. That's Prince's brother Alfred. I'm sure you've seen him in recent times. And there's my sister Denise. She's got her eyes closed and stuff. But this is where the spirit, our family, our ancestors raised us to be tight and close like that. I know some of y'all can relate to that, where your cousins is almost like your brothers and sisters. That's what that man was to me. He was following me around. I ended up later years following him around. So that's a weird contrast to be growing up knowing you're supposed to protect somebody, and then they end up being they could actually look over you and then some. So I was like, wow, dude, you got me like that? Okay. Okay, next one. Oh, see Prince in the middle? He's just a cool little dude. And I'm telling you, I remember everything. Maybe God predisposed me to be able just to harness every little bit of detail of us being kids growing up, not just because we were musicians, because we could never dreamed it would be on this kind of scale, trust me. I'd be crazy if I told you it was, but I'll tell you this, my grandmother told me Prince. She said, he is special. My grandmother was his great aunt. His grandmother was my great aunt. So they were sisters. They were tight. They told us that Prince was special. He came here to do something special. And none of the kids in our family, now we're all some arrogant family members now. We're sitting there going, egos are off the chart, especially mine. Mine was like trip. I had never met anybody until I seen Prince standing at one of our Thanksgiving dinners. And I'm 7, he's 5. I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me. He's looking me up and down. I'm like, whoa, I've never met anybody that's really kind of like looking me up and down. He was checking me out to see my aunt had an organ in her house, an old one. People would come by, nobody would touch it, but me and Prince would always be staring at it. We hardly said anything to each other at first. We all had been playing together since we was little, but now we're able to speak and we're kind of really able to relate. And a bit of a tragedy, I lost my mother when I was 7 years old. So Prince and his family and everyone, all of our family members meant the world to my sister and I, because our dad raised us by himself. So kudos to fathers that raise their children by themselves to have the guts. Okay? All right, thank you. Here's this, I meet him. I mean, we already knew each other, but still, I didn't know he could play. I knew he had a piano in his room. I knew he could bang on the piano and stuff, but I didn't know he really could play. So he gets on this organ, starts grooving and stuff, and I'm sitting there going, okay. So I creep over, get over to him, and I'm sitting there trying to play like I'm involved with him. Like I know what he's doing and stuff, and I'm on some organ that has some presetted drum tracks in it. I ain't never played a drum set in my life. All I knew was I could beat something. And my grandmother, by the way, who said that Prince was special, told me I was going to be a drummer. I ain't touched no drumsticks yet. Okay, getting back to the story. He's on that organ, tearing it up. He's playing Out of Space. I think Out of Space by Billy Preston, the keyboard. But I'm sitting there checking him out going, nah, man, you ain't really grooving on that. And he said, well, come on and sit by me and we'll sit and play. So that was the beginning of me and him going like, okay, I'll be down at your house. I'll beat on the bench. I will try to get me some drums. He was going, okay, he was all for it. One thing about Prince, and I've heard it throughout this whole conference, especially when Kat was rapping about how Prince could make you, he started looking, if he followed you around, that meant you had something. So I dug her story, then I said, oh, honey, I can relate to that, because he dug with your vibe, and he jumped on it, and all of a sudden, he's like the most incredible thing you ever seen. You're like, oh, man, how you do that? But anyways, that's what he was with me and the drums. He's going like, we're going to get you a drum set, you're going to play. So just to get the story over quickly, we met Andre Simone. You guys know who Andre Simone is, right? Badass bass player, multi-instrumentalist as well. Now, I grew up with these guys. All of them could play all the instruments. Trust me. No lessons, because people go, what, do you guys have lessons or something? Did someone teach you? No, they didn't teach us. We would have loved it, but really folks couldn't really afford to get lessons. And I had ran into cats that had lessons and never felt intimidated because I felt like I had a little something more special than them. I had Prince with me, right? Always. So we get together. Dre, we need a bass player. Andre don't even touch the bass. He says, I'll play. We're going looking at him like, okay. Now, I'm not believing any of this now. I know Prince is a wonder child right away. But here comes Dre. Put a bass in his hand. He borrowed a bass, a little cheap little bass. And we started playing, our first song that we ever played as a band is Grand Central. It was a song called, you guys know it, it's Shaft by Isaac Hayes. We did the little thing of that, and then we said, let's play some Santana. We started playing Santana. Said, start playing Cold Blood if you're hip to them. Start playing Cold Blood, this is a horn band. So Prince was already thinking horns, and so were we. All of a sudden, we got this three-piece, and we're playing Grand Funk Railroad, Chicago. We're playing anything you could buy, Stags. You name it, we was playing the Christopher, it was Hall & Oates. It just, whatever it was, we could learn it off the record, we would play it. And so we were one of the maybe out of the 4 black groups in our town, because there was many groups that were incredible in our neighborhood. They were older than us. But for some reason, they felt like we were dope. So they would let us borrow their equipment. And a time I remember specifically is that we had a talent show, a really big talent show. And one of the groups that was in the talent show happened to be Flight Time. You ever heard of them? Y'all heard of Flight Time at Jimmy and Terry? Yeah, okay. They let us use their equipment. Okay, they said, "Oh, let them little brothers use the equipment," because they wasn't worried about us, because they stomped everybody in town. Because one of our things was we were real competitive, of course. So we go like, oh, we didn't go like, oh, they let us use their equipment. We went, oh, they're dead now. They're dead now. We had never played on a full PA system. I was singing out of because I was our lead singer, by the way. I had the mic off. We didn't have a boom stand. It was like I had to lean over and sing out the mic and still play. Drummers weren't singing and playing. There was only a few of them then. Well, because of Prince, I learned how to do that without even thinking about it. I was like, oh my God. Well, anyways, these guys give us the equipment. And we burned them up. The winners, Grand Central. That was our band, Grand Central. Morris got in that group afterwards. I'll get to that in a moment. But we looked at each other and said, oh man, we really got something going on here. So we flat out just knocked every band out. It didn't matter what color they were. It didn't matter who they were, whatever. We just were stomping on people. And after that, we figured Prince, I like to always say this, Andre's sister, Linda, we felt we needed a keyboard player. We wanted to kind of have a female in the band, kind of change up things. She was a drummer. Yes, Andre's sister was a drummer. She took my place one time, and I had to hear about it in school for like, oh, you can't beat Linda, man. Charles, what's up with that? I was like, oh, man. I couldn't go to the gig. My dad made me stay home on some punishment or something like that, so I didn't go to the gig. So I got it when I got to school Monday. Not only did I miss the gig, everybody made fun of me. They said, oh, Linda's going to take your job, man, and all this stuff. And I was going, oh, man, this is just terrible. I can't even believe I'm going through this. So anyway, who taught her how to play the keyboards? Prince just very carefully went behind her. And, he did this on everybody's instruments. So when I see people go, how's Prince going around and I'm telling you, he just had it. He went to Linda and said, you put your A flat major over here. She put her fingers there. She had to be talented too, obviously, but Prince showed her all the parts, and that's like, and then if Andre didn't play his part right, he'd go over there and he'd go, Charles, don't let me come over here and get all the drums. And I was like, oh, dude, you ain't gonna come and try to take me off my drums and stuff now. But he could on every instrument, which kept you on the edge. I remember last night you all were talking about how the edge Prince had everybody on. Well, that energy is cool, isn't it? Because it kind of makes you can't mess up. Now that's back then. You cannot, I never wanted to see that roll in his eyes. You all have seen it in certain things. The Prince will kind of roll his eyes, like, oh man. If he did that, you just might as well take your drums and go home. Just go home. And if you couldn't play, go home. That's what he was always about. So it was always like, we were all like, but it really kept us driving and humble at the same time, because we knew these were gifts that were given to us, but we would have to work at them to get where we needed to be going. So shout out to my cousin for that. I use that in my everyday life. So I'm sorry it went off a little bit, but when I see that little picture, I'm telling you, I remember when I was there. And cake, me and Prince love some cake. I think there's some, yeah, that's why them smiles like that. I'm right behind him in the back there going like, well, my cousin Chantel, oh, it's funny. Oh, you can go to the next one.
Next.
Oh, this is my dad's 1966 convertible Bonneville. Now, everybody thought it was cool, but me and my sister thought we were so embarrassed to ride in it. It was brand new. But there's Princess sitting in the back seat just chilling, getting ready. We're going to the Dairy Queen, okay? The man went to the Dairy Queen with us. So that's all good. You can flip that one too. Oh, this is my an original Grand Central member. His name is Terry Jackson. I didn't get a chance to get to him because I went all over the place. Well, Terry lived next door to Andre. So when Andre's mom and Terry and Andre would get into it, she would say, y'all got to take the equipment and go. So we go, Terry Jackson, an opportunist and a great one, he goes, y'all can practice in my house. So we went over to his house and we started rehearsing over there. Back and forth we were going. But that's who that is, man. He's an original percussionist of Grand Central. He played with Jesse Johnson. Okay, y'all heard of Jay, right? Okay, you can kick that next one. Okay, yeah, there's Dre right there. We're at his mom's house. There's Terry Jackson, original Grand Central, and there's me, of course. I'm sitting there looking all cool and stuff, Dre and everybody, yeah. They're my boys. I grew up with these dudes, man. Seriously, I am so freaking blessed. I can't even tell you, even now. Okay, to share these stories with you. Next. This is my cousin. There's Tyka, Prince's sister. There's my cousin Tracy. And there's me in the middle. Anyways, and then... Oh, she did. And there goes my cousin Chantel. I just love her right there. That's you know, we don't let nobody tell us what to do. Prince's mom's twin sister. That's her daughter, Chantel, right there, who was married to Peppy Willie. Y'all ever heard of Peppy Willie? Well, Peppy, that's how Peppy got involved in our family. We didn't know he was, Brooklyn, New York, hometown recording artist. His uncle was in Little Anthony and the Imperials, and at the time, we were like, who's that? You know, and he was like, yo, I don't know who that is. But he married my cousin, and he kind of checked us out and said, y'all got something. When we first met him, we laughed at him at first. We were sitting there going, who's this old dude you married? And, you know, he's from New York. What? Why'd you come here? Well, I'm glad he did. Okay, next. A fan from across the water sent this comparison like of me to Prince, and I was going like, why ain't tripping like that? Because I'm like, I'm tall and he's, you know, he's pretty. He's Prince, right? Well, she wanted to show the similarity, so I wasn't just some fluky cousin that just, you know, found out that Prince was my cousin and came running out going, oh, I need help. Could you help me? Nah, not the case. Okay, later, Prince. Well, this is my beautiful wife, Victoria, and myself. Yeah. Ain't she fine? Yeah. 30 years, you guys, me. Everybody thought I would never get married. Woo! I got to shake myself off for that one. Love you, Victoria. I also like to thank some very special people that are here. Oh, next. I'm sorry. Way to go. Thank you, Victoria. Angela Duff, of course, I love her. She's just so dope. Kirsty and Mike, I'm telling you, these are doctors. They're so hip. I didn't quite know how to embrace the academics and the Prince thing together, but it's so dope that it kind of married. It's natural. These two found it somewhere in their heart. They liked me, what I was saying and stuff, and so it's not for them. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even be here. Because they dug it so much that they said, we need to have this dude come and do it at the University of Minnesota. So I got to do it in my hometown. People loved it there, and it was really cool. And I'm just really, Hayley Drinkall, I hope I said it right. Hayley gets even more props because Hayley, she forgot, yeah, that's her manager, yeah. Send her some love out because I'm telling you, when Prince passed away, she contacted me. Didn't know how I was going to really react because I wasn't really feeling cool about talking to anybody, especially people that said they knew him and all this crazy stuff. You hear weird things when you're me, according to about my cousin. So she was cool enough to go. She kept corresponding with us, left and right and stuff. My wife finally kind of took over, and they started talking. Now I'm just trying to tell you how the Justice for Cousin, if you've ever heard of that, how that kind of married into this situation. Because right after my cousin passed, I was quickly interviewed by almost all our media people in our city, and I thought maybe I shouldn't do it, but just something compelled me because I didn't like anything about it at all. It just, you know, and I'm just like, okay, I didn't ever think the whole thing with the plane was cool. Now we might get a little sad here, but I got to keep it 100. I got funky when the plane came down and there was nothing done then. Did y'all feel that same way? You must have. I've been getting that same vibe from people. So when Hayley kind of felt that same way and she was going like, yo, people, I seen you on this station and I seen you on this, and people were calling up saying, yo, man, I think you should really kind of do something. And I was going, well, what do I do? So I call up Professor Griff. Y'all heard of Professor Griff before? Or Public Enemy? Okay, so I call him up. I'm scared to talk to him now. And he's telling me how much he loved Prince and stuff. he was happy to say, brother, if y'all know what Grip's all about, he's a minister of information. You know, he's about that work. And he was going like, brother, you know, he said, Prince can't talk, you got to talk for him. And I was going, well, I feel underqualified to even, how am I going to be man, how do I speak about a genius? He said, just do what you do, bruh. So that's what I'm doing. So, and thank you. And thank God that Hayley then turned me on to Mike and Kirsty. And when those guys got involved, like I said, I'm here to this day right now. And I'll probably be doing some more, hopefully, because I think people should get a chance to really kind of hear some of these real cool stories about Prince. They ain't all tragedy. He wasn't treated like some bum or something when he was a kid. His parents loved him on both sides of the family. Let's get that clear. You see the pictures, he's cute. Who's gonna hurt somebody like that? Oh yeah. Okay. Anyway, all hail to Hayley Drinkall. I can't even thank you guys enough. Everybody that's participated in this, my family who put up with me for all these years trying to do this whole thing. And I guess that's going to cover it. And all the beautiful fans, and you guys all know who you are. I don't know if I could really thank you enough for getting behind the Justice Because. I'm not going to stop until I find out exactly what happened to my cousin, and somebody goes to jail for it. We have lost too many artists. We've lost too many artists. Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, and then Prince in the same decade. Come on now. So we got to stop this madness because they're taking our creative people out of the world. You know, creativity makes the world go round. Come on now. You see the conditions of school subjects are. My kids brought some stuff home that called it music class. Man, me and Prince used to go on our music class and just say, we are not learning how to read Beethoven, Bach. No disrespect to those in their work, but we just weren't doing it. You know, Prince is straight up, we just said, we don't need that. And I'm so glad we did, because we didn't, you know, never read a note. No one here though, I can hear that A, E, I can hear the C flat major 7. I can hear all that, but I didn't never have to learn how to read it, which makes it more of a flexible artist as opposed to just somebody that's kind of, you know, yeah, I'm gonna write some stuff for you. So we freed our minds and our asses followed. So you know what I'm saying. Am I done?
All right, so.
Did I go too far?
Oh, no, you were great. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask you my personal question, and then I have a question from the audience, and then we're going to start having the audience ask you some questions. So when I was in Minneapolis and I did the bus tour with you, which was amazing, thank you for that, even though it was just like, it was the blizzard, and we made it work. Yeah. So you told me, I always felt that Prince was from another planet. Yes. But I learned that you guys actually had a planet.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So can you talk a little bit about, yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay. My cousin. We used to do this thing. Well, actually, it was another friend of ours in our neighborhood. This kid, he started going to the University of Minnesota from the 9th grade. He told me and Prince and Andre one day that we were from this planet called X. Now we're open to anything. That's one thing about Prince. You're open to, nothing was like, no, we're not, that can't, it was, okay. How do you know? Dude told us. He told us what planet it was, where it was located, our names from that planet. And we had friends of ours in the neighborhood that thought we were so crazy that they just would talk about us. They go like, man, them guys is weird and stuff. And I know right now they're probably going like, them guys was right on time because like, they were from where they said they were. But I think that's an interesting question because we got to be from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Really, we never thought of anything like regular people ever. We always thought we were kind of adults already. Prince never didn't want his mom and dad to tell him what to do. Some people miscue that and say that he was thrown out of his house. Prince left. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to leave with him. At 7 years old, he told me, I'm moving out. And I'm going like, I said, are you sure, man? Where are we going? He said, we're going anywhere, but I'm going. Are you going with me? 6 o'clock. I said, I was too scared to tell him no. I said, yeah, man, I'll be ready. 6 o'clock came. I said, Prince, I can't go, man. I don't want to leave my dad. Where we gonna go? And he was determined, as he was on his mission, like my grandmother told us, he was going somewhere. I didn't go like, oh man, you need to stay home and all this stuff. Wasn't that kind of cousin. I just was like, whatever makes you, I can't go, but you're going out. Stay in touch, we'll be cool. So Prince went to his dad's, and he was that kind of guy. The people said he got thrown out of the house and out of his dad's house, and that's not true. Prince had girls in the house, and his dad said, you either do it, all y'all have some parents like that, moms and dads that go like, if you have some girls in the house, if you're a boy, you know you're getting thrown, you know you're gonna get some heat. Prince got heat because he had 3 girls in the crib. Surprise? Surprise. He wasn't doing anything, but his dad blasted him and me for going, what are you doing here, child? I'm going like, man, I didn't do anything, man. I hope that answers your question.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you. All right, so a question from the audience, and I think this is an amazing question. Mr. Smith, please let us know, in your own words, what you want us to always remember about your beloved cousin.
Wow, that is really difficult. Because I think you guys have done so. I think you mentioned it in the last, the people that were up here before, where I came in here late, they were talking about the impact of certain aspects of Prince's albums, and if you know, I agree with a lot of that, because you'll remember so many different things that it's not fair to pick one. Mm-hmm. So I hope that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool.
It was like when you were debating the Black album and Lovesexy. Mm-hmm. The dopest track on there, and I hear everybody talk about it, was Bob George. I tripped on it completely, like everybody else did. Yeah. But my favorite song is Positivity.
Yes.
I don't hear too many people getting off on that, right?
Yes.
Have you had your plus sign today? Oh, that's funky.
Yes, yes. Woo. All right, for respect of time, I do want to end at 7 o'clock. It's been a long day, an amazing day, and it's more about my student workers who's been working out in the AV room. Give them a hand, please. So we're going to start passing some mics around, so wave your hand like you just don't care, and we'll get some mics to you.
This is your conscience.
Somebody else have a question? Get your hands up. She'll come around. Right there. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Chazz.
Hey, what's happening?
Oh, over here.
I'm sorry.
Hi.
For a woman, don't eat those TV dinners.
So I'm interested in Prince and spirituality, and I was hoping you could clear something up for me, because I've read different things. So I've read that his parents were Jehovah's Witness, but I also read that he went to a Seventh-day Adventist church with his grandmother, but not with his parents. So if you could kind of clear that up for me.
I can totally clear it up with you because I was there.
Okay.
My aunt, our Aunt Mary, she used to take us to the Seventh-day Adventist church on Saturday. We didn't want to go. Our parents didn't press, religion on us like that. We were aware of it, of course, but we weren't like, you got to go to church, because my dad didn't go. So they weren't hypocrites and nothing. They would go. But my Aunt Mary, we didn't know, go to church on Saturday. She said, if I take you to church, if you all go with me, you can go to All-Star Wrestling with me. And me and Prince were really in the All-Star Wrestling at the time. Swear to God, man. And my Aunt Mary, man, she was the coolest aunt in the whole entire world. I was just telling my wife again while we were thinking about it. But we went to the Seventh-day Adventist church. We just couldn't wait to get the singer play something. So we weren't listening to anything that was going on. So when they said, okay, you guys can play, we go, and get and start grooving and stuff and start singing. We had little parts we had to do. But the religion never, it didn't capture me. I didn't even really realize that captured Prince until I started listening later to some of his music and some of the titles reflected the Seventh-day Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses. And I was like, wait a minute, because we used to throw them out. Everybody's in here Jehovah's Witness. But our parents told us don't open the door for them because they would come by and y'all know the deal. Don't try to make me up here like I'm a religious hater or something like that. I'm just going like, I just think that, so I when he became a Jehovah's Witness, I was like, all along though, Prince was trying to find his spiritual walk, his true path. And he sent me a card on Christmas Day, not some greedy card about the fake stuff. He sent me a card that said, it was a brother with a big afro as Jesus and said, love God on it. Okay, I have that card to this day. Some people say, you should sell it or something. Like, are you nuts? Keeping that for the rest of my life. Because he wrote that to me, man. He was like, yo, you know what time it is. So he was trying to find his lane that because he, bless you, he felt like the world was so stupid. You know what I mean? It's just easy to love everybody, and regardless of color, whatever, we all have all this common thread, and he just could never get that race stuff. He just was pissed off about the way the world worked. So he felt like we were told religion was going to be the save-all, be-all. You know the rest of the story.
Thank you.
All right, so our next question. I think someone else got the mic, right?
Ask me anything, I'll answer it.
Okay, does anyone else? Oh, we got over here the red beret.
Thank you. Hi, there's a lot of information out there, and I don't know, I mean, a lot of us don't know what's true and what's fictional. I've heard that there are roots in Louisiana, and I wanted to know if that was true, and if you could share some information about those, your relatives or the lineage in Louisiana.
Our families are from a little small town in Louisiana called Ruston. It's 100 miles from Baton Rouge. That's where my family started, and they came up here for a better life. So, yep, that is a fact. One of the few facts that are real is that, yep, our lineage is Louisiana, the place where, of course, New Orleans, and where music, maybe that's where we got that from, So that's a great question. I like that.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for being here. I wanted to ask you, as a musician, I grew up listening to all types of music, and my dad played jazz, and he loved Prince tremendously.
Can't help it.
Yeah. As a musician, when you guys worked out, what would you guys normally do first? You would come up with lyrics to a song first, or would you first come up with a melody on an instrument and then put lyrics to it, or did it work both ways, or however were you inspired?
That's a good question as well, and I hate to just be like, oh, you all know Prince, man. He did nothing conventional whatsoever. Even then, he just, nothing was normal. We just would, if it happened to be a lyric that he liked, he would write the song off the lyric. If it happened to be a guitar line that he liked, he could write a song off that. Bass line, it don't matter, it didn't need a bass line. Or mostly, what really tripped me out is that when he became a better drummer than me, and this is why, his advanced knowledge of being able to communicate what he could do with his body and everything has something to do with the way he synchronized that drum, because it sounded like total perfect tone, everything. I've heard too many engineers and everybody go like, oh, the dude's just awesome. So sometimes you'd be, if you wanted a session to play the drums, you might not, if Prince is standing there, you might not want to run your mouth and go like, yo, I'd like to sit in and play. No, they're going to ask to have Prince play it. Because he can get that ghost track going, man, and I'm telling you, he had that metronome sound in his head. He always tell me, man, go home and work with that metronome, man. Keep that thing. So I go home and play that joint, for hours. Try to work different variations of beats on it. I practice 4 hours a day still, and that's because of him. Because I never wanted him to see me weak and slap it and say, oh, man, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to know it, because I think I'd have been finished if it would have been the case. So I always wanted to keep my musical integrity together. So a lot of people think, oh, you just want to run your mouth and go off on stage. No, I'd rather be playing. Trust.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, we got some hands.
Oh yeah. Hi.
What's happening, man?
How you doing? Enough respect to what a lot of stuff I was looking at YouTube and stuff, and just you don't have to answer if you don't want to answer, but it seems a lot of fishy, a lot of stuff that I read in the media, like it doesn't make sense about what happened. So I don't know if you could shed a little bit more light. What do you think happened? If you can, you don't have to answer it because I know it's on. I don't know. It feels like it's a little bit like too fishy how he died.
Very fishy. What can I say? It's fishy. You right on time with that joint, man. That ain't no fake sign you just seen. It was definitely fishy, and man, my girl's she's been banging people on Facebook, man. She won't let. I have to totally give Kat props because when I started this, people were hating on us, man. I mean, it was like we're getting this just because we had the nerve to think differently. And not look at it like it really was. They believed the narrative. We were like, right away, we were like, oh, this is a bust, man. This ain't real. So yeah, man, that's still fishy to me. And I've been close to the investigation prior to the when they came out with their what they thought had happened to them, where the doctors paid 30 G's to get off. You know that's whack, right? So I always tell people it costs money to get justice in this country, whether you're on the right side or the wrong side. So we're trying to get on the right side, give Prince the justice he deserves, because we need to, if anything, we at least need to know the truth of what was going on in the last. I go back to a couple years in his life before that day. All you got to do is go back, and if you're able to kind of get some of the things I've been able to learn, some of the things I've been able to learn, it is absolutely fascinating. It pisses you off at the same time. There's somebody that people would be like, these kind of people would be around him. And if I see them, oh, man, really, they're going to have to really call a brother off. And I'm serious, I ain't violent, nothing like that, but you almost want to be violent with some people that the way you're somebody that's that cool about stuff. I had cats call me up after Prince died that he had played with, and he was paying them absorbent amounts of money. Dude said he didn't even take the money. He said, I got where he's come from too. He said, just playing with your cousin was enough. I said, oh, shit. Man, are you kidding me? Yeah, just playing with your cousin was enough payment for me. And this dude got multiple gigs. He's a jazz player. So the jazz, for example, me and Prince, we grew up on jazz, loved it to death, and that's what kept us really real and kind of improvising and being able to have that gift is because of jazz. So, hey, anyways, getting back, we're going to get them people that...
I have a microphone, so I'll say my question. I'm right here. Oh. If Prince could come back to the world and speak to his fans and just the world one more time, what do you think he would say to us? Like, knowing him personally, and like the biggest misconception that people have about what do you think he would say to us?
First of all, that's a dope question. I hope I can answer it good. I think Prince would be disappointed that everybody fell for the okie doke. That's why I think that God put me, for real. Because he would go like, oh, I know y'all left y'all clues. Did he not leave you clues?
Yes.
And I know a lot of people don't want to believe in that stuff and everything, but after talking to the investigators, they missed some things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. People were shredding documents and stuff. Yeah. Computers were being dealt with in a uncommonly way. So, I think Prince will be disappointed in the way the world is going to. All this hate and all these ignorant acting idiots walking around. He's going, man, he'd be bummed out, man, for real. So especially the way this whole thing went down with he's saying, y'all, y'all got to look at them clues and start, who's gonna be brave enough to pick them up? Because I know people that know stuff and they won't say anything because they're scared they won't be able to eat in this town again. But I go like, eat not, brother, sister, whatever you know, bring it to the brother. I'll take care of it for you. So.
How you doing, bro?
What's happening?
All right. Musicology was one of the last concerts that I was able to attend.
That was a dope concert.
And Yeah, I have 3 of the CDs at home, so I saw him 3 times during that tour. And
I ain't mad at you. I understand.
yeah, so that album means a lot to me. It actually helped me get through my mother's death. And Reflection is one that just touches my heart the most. And seeing him perform it live with Lisa after his interview with, thank you, Travis, thank you. I can't watch it without, raising a tear. Do you know anything about that performance, why he went back to Wendy, to perform that?
You know what? I wish I could answer that, but I just think once you've dealt with Prince, I think you're always in his family. And sometimes he might have to go and leave you there, like when he wanted to run away and I didn't. But we caught up to each other later on, and I helped him get his first keyboard player for his first touring band. Her name is Gail Chapman. So, I mean, we always, you're never gone. So I couldn't, the only reason I could say is that maybe it was just time, because Prince is always moving. So, if you weren't ready to move, well then, might seem cold-blooded, but like that just was his nature. But you never were out of his thoughts and things like that,
So I actually know that several of you guys have the mic, but again, to be respectful of time, I know Charles will probably be happy to stay and answer your questions directly. But to end the symposium, I'm asking you guys to do something. I want us to sing something that Prince hopefully can hear, and you guys know it. So just follow after me. Positivity. Come on. Yes. Have you had your plus sign today? Positivity. Yes.
Yeah.
Do we mark you present or do we make you late? La, 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 la. So. Say it again. La, 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 la. So. We love you, Prince.